me today. I'm Kayla, and this is At Home with Kayla Price. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about something that has become something I really enjoy, and that is shelling. So my husband loves to go to the beach. I don't even know how to swim. I have adapted to hanging out on a beach, but I have found that my favorite thing is to collect beautiful shells. So today I was going to show you a few things that I do around the house with them, just in case you're going to be starting a shell collection or you already collect shells and want to know what to do with them. The other thing I was going to mention is that I always pick up ideas when we go to VRBOs or hotels that are beautifully decorated. And on this particular vacation, I really liked how the owner of the VRBO had beautiful shells displayed in glass containers. And so I kind of took that idea and put my own twist on it and made it my own. So one thing he had that was so pretty, he, his wife, both of them, people before him, I don't know, was a low glass dish with sand in it, and then a sprinkling of different shells that have been found locally. Now, most of these shells are from either Sanibel, Florida, but probably most of them are from North Captiva, Florida. So, you know, you're gonna, if you go to the same spots, you're gonna find similar shells and may not get some of the variety as if you were to go to different shells. Now, one thing I need to mention before you go, if you're going to a spot you think will have shells, you want to pack accordingly. So you want to remember to take good Ziploc bags for shells that are more durable. It's a good way to bring them home, and they can accommodate a lot of shells. The other thing, if you have more fragile shells, would be to bring some plastic containers. This is just from a yogurt. It has the common jingle in it, if you know what I'm talking about, and I probably don't, but the little twinkly ones that look like, you know, glittery on the beach, I have a few of those in here, and they're a little bit more fragile, and so this provides them some stability and they won't get crushed in my suitcase. The other thing you could do is, if you get desperate and you go on a vacation not thinking you're going to find anything, you could borrow a little paper toweling or toilet paper and maybe some of the cling wrap from the kitchen. So this too is a bundle of jingles, and I just wrapped them up that way. So when you are desperate, you're going to find a way. But the other thing you need to do is to be sure and leave some space in your luggage so that you don't go with a full suitcase and expect to be able to fit some very fragile things in your suitcase. So this is just a sampling of some that I've collected through the years. Now, a long time ago, and I think it might have been a vacation to St. Lucia, I collected some really pretty shells that I put in a biscuit box, and hopefully I will have inserted some photos of that, as well as some different pieces of coral that I washed up on shore. So that was one option. Then later on, I don't remember if this was a Florida vacation or a vacation to Hawaii, but I got some sand from Lowe's. So it's just, I think they called it sandbox sand, so it's a brown sand, and put it in the bottom of a big glass container that had a bottom in it. So not just like an open bottom hurricane, but more a big candle holder, you know, with the bottom in it. I put the sand, I put a candle, and then I put some of the shells around that. But this time, after seeing what our host had done with their shells, I just got out some different glass bowls that I already had on hand and added shells to them. So I am still trying trying to learn the differences in the shells. So I tried to divide them out just because I think that will help me learn sizes, textures, colors. But for example, these are all scallop shells, so different kinds and different colors. So grays and purples and pinks and rust, and lots of ones with barnacles, which I totally love. There are some in here that I think are called calico scallops, which are just so pretty, that you can find all sorts of different colors. Some of them, my husband says, look like they have seagulls on them. They're just beautiful. There's a black one, lots of dark grays. So that is probably my favorite. But this is a trifle dish. I never hardly ever use it, but it makes a perfect container for scallops. These are possibly cockles. Y'all will have to correct me. And this is an old container that I got flowers in a year or so back. So it's clear, it wasn't being used, and it makes a perfect container. I probably need something a little bigger. This one here in front is something for my kitchen. It, just like the trifle bowl, it was a large serving like pasta dish. I believe I got it at Walmart probably 10 years ago. And again, I put, this time, well, in 2019, I had collected some of the beautiful white sand from North Captiva Island. So I put that in the bottom, and then I put just a little bit of everything in here. There are pieces of shells, there are my favorite scallops, there are whelks, sand dollar with barnacles, just a little bit of everything. A Florida fighting conch, sand dollar, cockles, I think, jewel box, angel wings, clams, nautilus. Oh, that's not a nautilus, it's a shark's eye, I believe. So a little bit of dried coral I have found. So just, again, kind of interesting to look at and relive vacation, but also a way to help me learn how to identify the different shells. These are called slippers maybe, but they are in an old candle holder that is clear. This is actually what a candle came in that was clear, and I cleaned it out, and it has clams in it. And I also have, let me bring in the others. So I have some olives here. I think they're called alphabet olives, and some of them are literally just pristine. And I think it's interesting. So we went to the same beaches recently that we had gone to in 2019, and we found different shells this time than we found the earlier time. This time we found 2 olives, whereas last time we found several. I don't think I had any of these little slippers, maybe what they're called, from before. I had not collected or even remember seeing any urchins, but we were able to find some really interesting sea urchins this time. This time we really didn't get many conchs or whelks, so it just kind of depends on, I guess, what the tide is washed in. But I wanted to say how sometimes we overlook the broken shells or the ones that have the little holes in them, and really I think they're so interesting. I love the barnacles, as I mentioned. I love the bits and pieces and the remnants of shells. Like, I think this is just so beautiful. Just fragile looking, and shows, you know, what the sea has done to it. Kind of shows the inside of the shell. So I would recommend that you not overlook some of the shells that are not necessarily pristine, but are still beautiful. This also, I believe, is a Florida fighting conch, but it's almost like it's chalky. So I don't know if it's petrified or what's made it look like this. It does have, you may be able to see in there, a few other little shells still in there that don't want to come out, and I'm not going to make them. But don't overlook some of the beautiful differences in shells. So I have, I think, what are angel wings? I could be wrong on that. Another little jar, an old candle holder of the horned jewel box. I think that's what it's called. These are kitten's paws, I believe, and maybe some Atlantic cat's paws. I would adore having a lion's paw, but probably will never find one of those. These are, I don't know, but they are beautiful. And I still have more urchins, more fragments. This is a fragment that my husband found, which I thought was so very pretty. And on the inside, there are barnacles and just lots of erosion. But it seems like it would be beautiful on one of those stands. So I'm gonna have to find a place that can make this into a piece of art, because it is art to us. It may not be to anyone else, but it's something that, again, we would enjoy as a memento of our vacation without going out and buying something. Of course, there will be an expense putting a stand on it, but it's something that we'll enjoy without screaming, "You were at North Captive." Some of the other interesting fragments, this looks like it was from one huge clam. It is very, very thick and beautiful color. I don't know if you can see the variation in it, but it's just tonal beiges and gorgeous. This was kind of the same way, the beautiful color variants, the brown tones was really neat. And then this was another shark's eye, I believe, that is missing a piece here, but it was so pretty. Of course, it's been drilled into by something that ate the actual creature that lived in here. And then all these interesting holes that make this look like a piece of sponge. It was a very thick shell, whatever it was. I believe it was a clam shell based on this bottom here, but it's beautiful and interesting. And when you get this kind of piece and you bring it home, there is still sand coming out of it, because those little holes just collect the sand and bring it home with you. So I thought I would show you one thing that is real easy to do. This is a candle holder that I recycled, and it's particularly from the candles that you get at Bed Bath & Beyond. So this is one that I just emptied, and I can still smell. It was pumpkin clove, Bath & Body Works. I said Bed Bath & Beyond, I'm so sorry, Bath & Body Works. And I really enjoy these candles a lot because they have a big scent. They are made from soy, they use essential oils, and they have lead-free wicks. So there are a lot of beautiful candles out there, a lot of expensive candles out there, and I have those setting around the house that I burn sometimes. But these are the candles, you can always get really good sales on them. They have pretty, lids, and I just don't feel as guilty about burning money, literally, with these candles. But you have this nice glass container left, and I don't want to throw it away, so I can show you quickly how you can clean it up. So there was a bit of candle plus the 3 metal wick holders in the bottom, and usually there's just enough candle wax in there. If you'll let it cool, once the candle has stopped burning, I use an ice pick, or you could use a knife, and if you just kind of dig down in there and flick around, you can usually get that out real easy. So that all you're really doing is you need to clean up the residue that's left and get the label off. The label on the outside, when you purchase these, if you'll look for smaller labels, This one had just a small little label. Some of them have labels that go all the way around, and sometimes it's harder to get that sticky residue off. So this just left one little line here that's not even sticky, but it's where the label was. This label will come off with water. If you get it wet, all you have to do is use a little plastic scraper and you can get that off real easy. But to get the inside clean, it's real easy. What I like to do is take the empty container. Of course, you need to make sure you have the metal prongs out or you're gonna ruin your microwave, but set it upside down on a double layer of paper towel, heat it for a minute, let it set in there for a little bit. When it comes out, use another paper towel to wipe all the liquefied residue out, and then do that a few times until it's mostly gone. You can always put it in the dishwasher top rack and wash any remaining out, and you can just hand wash it if you have very little residue. So it's so easy to do. I thought I would show you real quick. So I have done several of these today. So my paper towel already has a little bit of charring on it. So you're just gonna put it upside down. You can already have your label off or leave it on. It doesn't really make a difference. And I have a collection of paper towels that aren't really dirty. We've just maybe dried wet hands on them or used them for packing material. So I always keep those around just for these kinds of jobs. With 1 minute in the microwave, it cleaned up pretty good. And you can, like I said, leave the label on if you don't care, but you can easily take it off, and I will show you that just so you know. But the glue is coming off with it. So there you have it. Just a really clean and free, if you already have it, to throw out. These little clamshells in it, and some of them I think they actually look better when they're not filled to the top, but so there you have it, just a quick little craft and recycle all in one. So that is it for me for this week. Thank you again for joining me, and I will see you back next week with a new video. If you aren't already a subscriber, I would ask you to do that below and leave a comment as well. I'd love to hear your feedback. So see you later.